SpaceX has come up with a new solution that may help them save the Starship's 33 Raptor engines on its next test flight. The company has made significant upgrades to their launch mount at Boca Chica, Texas, which they hope will successfully propel Starship into orbit. Let's talk about these latest changes, how they will help the Starship, and why they are so important to the upcoming Artemis mission. In its pursuit of fulfilling the commitment to achieve a lunar landing next year, SpaceX embarked on a comprehensive reimagining of its approach to safeguarding rockets against catastrophic failures. This transformation was imperative to prevent instances of explosions during liftoff, on the launch pad, or while soaring through the skies. This marks SpaceX's innovative strategy to effectively address the challenge of igniting 33 engines simultaneously. Embracing the philosophy of learning from setbacks to achieve triumph, it is essential to reflect upon the invaluable insights gained from the recent Starship flight conducted last month. Initially, the absence of clamps and the gradual throttle-up approach resulted in an extended duration of Starship's presence on the launch pad. This unconventional method led to the dispersion of concrete, rock, and sand in various directions, causing damage not only to the nearby facilities, but also to the Starship itself. Following the traditional clamping mechanism observed in rockets like the Saturn V, where the rocket remained securely held in position for a brief period while power was gradually increased, SpaceX introduced a distinct approach. Instead of retaining the clamps until countdown initiation, SpaceX released them earlier in the process. Consequently, the company opted for a gradual power increase while the rocket remained stationary on the pad. This departure from the norm contributed to Starship possessing twice the power of a Saturn V, requiring nearly twice the duration to clear the launch area. It remained stationary for a significantly extended duration, directing its exhaust towards the ground intentionally as per the strategy. However, this prolonged phase played a role in the flight's downfall. During this time, debris generated by the exhaust managed to compromise 3 of Starship's engines, potentially causing harm to valves and systems that subsequently contributed to additional engine malfunctions and an incorrect fuel mixture. The sluggish progress of Starship through its designated flight trajectory indicated that the other engines were unable to compensate for the loss of thrust from the affected engines, particularly during the expected stage separation. This mismatch could be attributed to either software glitches or further damage inflicted on hardware components. As a result, the main booster continued firing well beyond the point it should have been shut down. Consequently, an uncontrolled rotation ensued, compelling the necessity to terminate the Starship mission. In response to these setbacks, SpaceX promptly devised 2 primary remedies for the prospective advancement of Starship. The initial countermeasure involves a modification in the concluding seconds of the countdown. During the inaugural launch, Starship initiated engine ignition over a span of approximately 5 to 6 seconds. Elon Musk elaborated that for Booster 9's launch, this interval will be curtailed by roughly 50%, reducing it to around 2.5 seconds, just before the vehicle commences its ascent. One solution entails the implementation of a water-jacketed sandwich, also known as the deluge system. Remarkably, SpaceX had already transported Starship's deluge hardware from Florida to Starbase in January. However, the company made the decision to proceed with the flight before this installation could be finalized. Virtually all rockets incorporate some form of a deluge system to counteract the potential damage caused by their own exhaust to both the rocket itself and its surroundings. This involves releasing a substantial amount of water directly beneath the rocket's engines, effectively mitigating the colossal acoustic energy generated by its powerful roar and preventing its destructive impact. Furthermore, the deluge system offers safeguarding benefits for launchpad infrastructure. By allowing a portion of the exhaust energy to vaporize and boil water instead of eroding concrete or steel, it aids in preserving the durability of the platform. However, it is notable that CEO Elon Musk has famously expressed SpaceX's ambition to create an orbital launch site for Starship, the most potent rocket in history, without the necessity for a flame diverter. But that decision has seemed to have backfired. Currently, SpaceX has embarked on making advancements in the development of the transpirational steel plate system, which is intended to be integrated beneath the Starship's outer protective layer. The supply pipes and manifolds have undergone precise measurements and meticulous modeling. The concept essentially entails a water-filled chamber featuring an array of perforations. These openings will be subjected to sufficient pressure, ensuring a continuous outflow of water even in the face of the exhaust's force. Visualizing it, water flows outward while superheated exhaust flows inward. This arrangement results in a distinct temperature disparity between the two elements, save for the central area. At the core, a radial current of steam forms, effectively deflecting the exhaust away from the steel plate. In the central region, the water pressure surpasses that of the exhaust, effectively preventing any direct contact with the plate. In the most extreme scenario, the exhaust is only exposed to steam rather than the plate surface. SpaceX's primary task involves sustaining water flow at levels that ensure the temperature at the steel plate remains below 1,000 degrees Celsius. Additionally, the objective is to ensure that the water doesn't reach its boiling point until it has exited the plenum. By achieving this, the steel plate's integrity is maintained without issue. In practical application, the steel plate encounters temperatures that do not surpass a few hundred degrees Celsius. Notably, what transpires with the water after it ceases contact with the plate is irrelevant to the plate's condition. It's essential to recognize that SpaceX routinely manages combustion chamber walls that directly endure considerably higher temperatures and pressures. Their proficiency in heat flow analysis is well established through their experience in handling extreme conditions and maintaining structural integrity. Any potential concern in this context revolves not around damage inflicted by the exhaust on the plate, but rather the possibility of turbulence and instability arising. This turbulence could reverberate back towards the engines, potentially generating a substantial wall of steam during the launch platform departure. Although it might not be as physically dense as airborne debris, it still holds the potential to cause significant damage. In summary, akin to any SpaceX design, the concept might necessitate refinements in its intricate details. This innovative approach ultimately positions them to construct a launch system for the initial stage that can be efficiently replicated. This ability is crucial, especially considering SpaceX's involvement in NASA's Artemis moon landing initiative, not to mention its financial endeavors in developing hardware and services for commercial clients. In a recent turn of events, SpaceX encountered competition as NASA opted for Blue Origin as the secondary provider for the Artemis Lunar Lander Initiative, while SpaceX envisions utilizing the colossal Starship, an extensive rocket and spacecraft system with autonomous capabilities. Blue Origin's approach is more streamlined. Their strategy involves the development of a lunar lander reminiscent of those employed during the Apollo missions. Blue Origin's lunar lander concept involves it being transported as a payload on an independent rocket. In contrast, SpaceX's Starship operates as a comprehensive and self-contained system. In terms of functionality, Blue Origin's role parallels that of the spacecraft segment within SpaceX's Starship design. In the context of Artemis 3, SpaceX's Starship would embark on its lunar journey in an uncrewed state. Upon reaching the moon's vicinity, it would rendezvous with NASA's Orion crew capsule, intended to transport astronauts to lunar orbit. Following the astronaut transfer, Starship would then undertake the task of descending to the lunar surface, facilitating exploration activities. Subsequently, Starship would facilitate the astronauts' return to the Orion capsule stationed in lunar orbit. This marks a distinctive approach compared to Blue Origin's lunar lander, which follows a different launch and operational pattern. In the Artemis 4 mission, Starship's involvement extends to docking with the Gateway, a forthcoming space station designated to orbit the moon. However, prior to undertaking lunar landings, companies are mandated to execute Pathfinder missions or test flights as a preparatory measure. Furthermore, SpaceX envisions harnessing the capabilities of their massive Starship to unlock possibilities in both deep space and closer orbits. Leveraging the inherent reusability of Starship, the company envisions a scenario where satellites can be intercepted and repaired while in orbit. Additionally, they could be returned to Earth or relocated to new operational orbits. This strategic flexibility is outlined in SpaceX's Starship User's Guide, illustrating the multifaceted applications of this ambitious spacecraft. Visual representations depict Starship's bullet-shaped fairing unfurling akin to the wide jaw of a largemouth bass, a mechanism for capturing or deploying payloads into various orbits. Notably, aside from Elon Musk, two other billionaires are eagerly anticipating Starship's capabilities. Interestingly, the most dependable patron for this colossal rocket might actually be SpaceX itself. The extensive cargo hold of Starship enables it to potentially transport 400 Starlink internet satellites per launch, a significant increase from the 60 that a Falcon 9 rocket can accommodate. Musk's initial vision for SpaceX was centered around facilitating the colonization of Mars, a monumental undertaking necessitating hundreds, if not thousands, of Starship flights to transport the essential personnel and supplies. It remains to be seen if Elon's vision will become a reality anytime soon. As for now, the Starship is yet to reach orbit, and only time will tell if SpaceX's efforts on upgrading the launch facilities at Boca Chica will yield a positive result. Do you think that the Starship is suited for the Artemis mission, or will Blue Origin beat SpaceX to the lunar surface? Please share your thoughts in the comments below.